In the previous episode of the 5 supposed Agile best practices that really aren't, we started a story about how senior developers on a team seize the dominant local optima position within inside of their system by insisting on handoffs of detailed documentation, including a checklist of the definition of ready for every user story. They chose to do this rather than having conversations as Agile suggests. The developers were optimizing the system what was best for them only, rather than optimizing for the overall throughput of the system. Well, let's see how things progressed after that. Soon the project management office within the organization heard of the creation of the definition of ready checklist, and they liked it. And they standardized it and rolled it across the whole organization, even for teams that were having good success with having conversations rather than extensive documentation. And once compliance saw how these processes were being standardized by the PMO, and that the digital tool supported things like workflows consisting of phase gates and sign-offs, they had the PMO standardize workflows for each work item type across all teams. Each of these decisions, viewed in isolation, seem like good decisions to make, but the impact on the overall system was degraded. The outcome, budgets blew up, schedules were missed, lead time on user stories got longer and longer, technical debt increased, and throughput went down along with customer satisfaction. Going back to the beginning of our story, the problem didn't start with the definition of ready. It's a good practice. The problem didn't start with developers wanting to locally optimize for themselves. The problem really began with standardizing the definition of ready and mandating it for all teams. So here's my recommendation. If you're going to adopt Agile, you must embrace self-organizing teams. Then let each team determine their own definition of ready. I suggest that you capture the definition of ready in one place and not within each user story as a checklist. And periodically, during your sprint retrospectives, ask yourselves, is our definition of ready still serving us? Or do we need to amend or simplify it?